Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my dear brothers and sisters. In my last two videos, I was talking about the do's and don'ts according to the Islamic principle of intimacy, the haram and the halal. And in this video, I'll be diving more into the Islamic polygyny and the origin of being allowed to have 4 wives, under which condition, and when it's allowed and when not. So in this video, I'll be covering the origins, the purpose, and the purported benefits for women as understood within Islamic theology and history. So, the permission for polygyny, a man having more than one wife in Islam, is a specific conditional allowance rather than an open-ended command. It's important to understand its basis in the Quran, its historical context, and the strict conditions attached to it. So, the origin and historical context. The primary source for this concept comes directly from the Quran, the central religious text of Islam. Quranic verse Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 3. And if you fear that you will not be able to deal justly with the orphan girls, then marry other women of your choice, 2 or 3 or 4. But if you fear that you will not be able to deal justly with them, then only 1. So what's the historical context here? It all goes back to the Battle of Uhud. This verse was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ after the Battle of Uhud. This battle resulted in the deaths of many Muslim men, leaving behind a large number of widows and orphans in the nascent Muslim community. In the society of the 7th century Arabia, women and children without a male provider or protector were extremely vulnerable to poverty and social insecurity. If you were not part of a clan, then you didn't have protection. It is as simple as that. A restriction, not an invention. It is also crucial to note that polygyny was a widespread and unlimited practice in pre-Islamic Arabia and many other cultures at its time. Men could and did have many wives. The Quranic revelation did not introduce polygyny. It restricted the practice by setting a clear limit, a maximum of 4, and for the first time introducing a binding condition for it. So what's its purpose and conditions? Well, the purpose of the allowance, as understood from its context, was primarily social and humanitarian. The primary purpose has always been social protection. The key purpose was to create a social support system for the widows and orphans left without a provider. By allowing men to marry these widows, the community ensured that these vulnerable women and their children were given financial support, legal protection, and a place within a family structure. The verse itself links the permission directly to the just treatment of orphans. The strict condition of justice. The permission is not an unconditional right. It is entirely dependent on one critical, non-negotiable condition: the husband's ability to treat all his wives with perfect justice and equality. This justice, al-adl, or the adl in Arabic, traditionally includes material and financial equality, providing equitably for housing, food, clothing, etc., as well as intangible equality such as fairly dividing his time and companionship. Many Islamic scholars point to a subsequent verse in the same chapter, Quran chapter 4 verse 129, which states, "You will never be able to be perfectly just between wives, even if it's your ardent desire." This is often interpreted as a strong signal that achieving the required justice is exceptionally difficult, if not impossible. For this reason, many scholars and modern interpretations see this as a strong discouragement of polygyny, steering men toward monogamy as the ideal. So how it is considered to benefit women? Well, based on the origin and purpose, the benefits for women, as argued from a traditional Islamic perspective, were primarily social, economic, and protective. So number 1, the financial and social security. This is the most significant benefit, especially in this historical context. Marriage provided a woman with a legal guardian, a provider, and a respected status in society. For a widow with children, it was often the only alternative to destitution or exploitation. Number 2, care for orphans. The allowance provided a direct solution for the care of orphaned children, ensuring they were raised within a stable family unit and their inheritance, if any, was protected by a guardian, as mandated by the verse. Number 3. Addressing demographic imbalance. In times of war or other crises where the male population is significantly reduced, a surplus of unmarried women, including widows, can arise. Polygyny was seen as a practical solution that allowed these women to have the opportunity for marriage and family rather than being left alone. Number 4. Providing an option in specific cases. Some modern proponents argue it can be a beneficial solution in specific individual cases, such as the infertility or chronic illness of the first wife, allowing a husband to have children or receive care without divorcing his first wife, who retains all her rights as a wife. So it's important to acknowledge that while these are the stated purposes and benefits, the practice itself is a subject of complex debate in the modern world, with diverse opinions among Muslims regarding this applicability and frequent misuse versus its original humanitarian intent. So I hope that this video has brought you a little bit more insight into the context of which the allowance of having 4 wives in Islam is based. And may you all take benefit, khayr from it, and may you do just among each other as we all should. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.